Let's welcome everybody in. It's the Real Kyper and Bourne show. We are live on Sportsnet 590, Sportsnet 360, and Sportsnet Plus from 4 to 6. We welcome everybody downloading us. Welcome everybody on our YouTube channel who's watching. It's the Leaf Edition, and we've got a ton to get into. Sammy McKee, Justin Bourne, got a lot of things on their mind.
Why, what happened?
Derek Brandeo, Jen Rolnick, we're together for the next 2 hours. Just a quick note. On top of the hour, we're going to welcome in former Toronto Maple Leaf. Or no.
Where? What are you talking about?
Do we not have...
Yeah, Kadri. Kadri's joining us at 4:40.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, we said the top of the hour. That would be at...
I thought we... okay,
No,
not
anyways,
the top of the hour.
At 4:40.
4:40,
Yes.
we got Nazem
Yes.
Kadri.
There you go.
Okay, that's just as good.
Yeah.
Well, it means you got 35 minutes to get on your Leaf thoughts here. Let's
Okay, I'll go first.
You don't want to do Raptors thoughts? Trade?
yeah.
NBA champion?
Spicy.
Out the door. Sad. It's too bad.
Okay.
End of an era.
I don't think
Now we'll do Leafs.
I don't think Leaf fans care. Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Okay. Last night, I had a lot of fun watching.
Good game.
I had it had a great vibe to it.
It did.
And listen, we're gonna dissect what we saw out there out of the Toronto Maple Leafs. After all, this is a Leaf Edition hour here. But both sides played hard.
Yeah.
They did.
Great crowd, right? Really good energy in the building.
And 27 seconds in, Marner and Matthews were they completely set the tone, and it really set up the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
A fantastic goal.
And,
fantastic pass.
It was unbelievable pass through the seam, and McDavid, I thought, really played well for a guy who didn't have 10 points. He was dynamic.
What did he finish with, an assist?
I think he had an assist on the night. But, he created a lot, was on some almost highlights. And just generally, the best players were very good. Fun hockey game. And then, the Leafs
do you
lead.
care, Sammy? Does Leaf Nation care about the fact that
such a good time?
Justin and I were entertained last
What
night?
are we doing here? That's what we're doing.
I just dropped my phone. Sorry.
No,
I love the game.
Are we past that?
Love the game. Said so much on Leafs Talk last night. Thought it was an excellent game. Wish these two teams got to play more, specifically in that building. It just feels like the Leafs Western road trip is really special for all the fans out there that get to do it the one night a year. It's a clear event. Yeah. Like the Go Leafs Go, Let's Go Oilers,
Let's
dueling
Go Oilers,
chants.
Go Leafs Go.
Like it was loud the entire night.
Yeah.
And like you said, great first shift. Unbelievable goal by high skill guys. The Leafs were leading, and then what happened, and then we're sitting here now. So, love the game. No, I'm glad you guys said it because I thought it was excellent as well. Two good teams, maybe one better than the other.
So, if we were to kind of compare it to a heavyweight fight, you got two of the biggest heavyweights in the National Hockey League, Matthews versus...
Oh, I thought you meant teams. I was
like, Matthews.
Please pump the brakes there, buddy.
No. Just stay with me here.
Yeah, I got you.
Matthews versus McDavid set up two heavyweights last night. If we were going to stick on the fighting theme, was that just the Leafs now throwing punches really early and then leaving themselves exposed at the end?
Yeah.
To get knocked out?
Well, it's almost like they started out the fight as Mike Tyson in his prime and then tried to become Floyd Mayweather at the end and just play defense, try to pick apart a team and with tactical play or whatever. But that's not a strength of theirs. They can't afford to stop throwing punches, and they stopped throwing punches. I had the chances by Sport Logic. They had 6 grade A or good chances in the first period, 7 in the second, and 1 in the third. They just stopped playing offensively.
Which is consistent with the fact that they blow leads at the end. Whatever team that you see to start is not the same team that finishes.
Correct. Yeah. So what do we want to talk our opinions, or do we want to do the team? I'm kind of more interested in yours than Sheldon's, to be honest, because I don't know how you feel about it, but
I think last night was, for me, a little bit. Well, first of all, I'm glad that the guys tried hard.
Yes.
Okay. But what is kind of clear more than ever after watching last night, a team push hard and give it the old college try, that they're just not quite there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would have sat there and said, oh, that was a lousy effort, then you'd be okay. How much more, let me ask you, last night, how much more can you squeeze out of that team to be better?
It's a great question. So I think what the question you're posing really is this a roster issue or a coaching issue? Right? And
yeah. And
so I think some
little from column A, little from column B.
I think it is that. It's never as simple as one or the other, but I do think there's more that can be squeezed out of it. I'll give you sort of my quick diagnosis here that I have an article up on sportsnet.ca, just came out before we came on the air, so I know you guys haven't had a chance to read it. But one of the things I looked at, I'm just trying to make sense of the idea that when you look at the Leafs' great offensive stats, slot shots and, inner slot shots, chances, all top of the league. And then their ozone possession time is like 24th in the NHL. So why are they so good offensively, but they spend no time at that end of the rink? And it's your diagnosis that they're not a great passing team is the correct diagnosis. They are 32nd in successful ozone passes, and they are 32nd in successful touches in the ozone with what does a positive play happen or negative play. 32nd, dead last in both categories.
Okay.
Last.
So they don't stay on offense, right? They force everything to the middle, which I've said before.
I have kind of brought this up in the past.
You have.
And you guys kind of looked at me like I've got three heads.
I argue with Matthews. You say Matthews can't pass, and he can. So that I argue with that all the time. But the team itself, I never thought of as a bad passing team.
But everything comes from the middle. Everything stems from your centerman. So I do point to Matthews and Tavares as guys, they're not good distributors at the middle of the ice.
They're not. There's no doubt about that.
And it hurts the ball club.
Sorry, when I say Matthews isn't, I don't think he's bad at it, and I think he should shoot the puck.
Average.
Sure. And I think given even like the pass to Holmberg he makes the other night, last night, which by the way, strips Connor McDavid coming back. Matthews in the slot makes a great pass. It's still Matthews. I still want him to shoot.
I don't disagree with you there, and it's something that we've seen in the past. You're the best shooter on the team. You're in a grade A position.
Take it.
I'm okay with that unless he knows that there's an opening, and he's 90% sure that he can find Marner for a tap in somewhere.
Yeah, and so to me, that's what happens with the game. Why they end up in all of these blown lead games, they end up playing in their own zone. Because you know why? They force pucks to the middle. Remember we did the Detroit game and I showed that pack of the Leafs just forcing passes into the middle? That's what it is. And you end up playing in the D zone against the best offense in the NHL.
Nothing's more abundantly clear on how average of a passing team they are than when you watch Nate McKinnon and Rantanen or Tampa on a power play. Example. And it's like, boys, you're not even close to sharing the puck like that. Not even remotely. And you watch that power play with the amount of talent that they have.
How many times did Wheelie just catch it and just shoot it with no other fakes or screens?
He was forcing it.
What is going on there? I've never seen the guy just get it and shoot it like this.
Like you don't think we want to move it around a little, make the defense change their shape, make the goalie lose his net a bit?
It's like all bets are off. I'm just going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to try to score myself.
Yeah.
That's what I saw last night out of Willie.
Yeah. And, Tavares had chances, but it's kind of the same thing. It's all coming from one spot. So, we're going to talk about the defense because the defense needs work, right? Like there are issues there. But to me, it's that, you're not creating anything offensively and they stop playing. They stop playing and all of a sudden you've got to defend and you're playing good teams and it's in the back of your net.
Okay. So to start, a few Kyper's Clippers. Do you have stuff from last night? Were you able to get anything? Did he speak today at all?
He did talk.
Did you find anything for us today?
Did you want to hear that one first, or did you want to talk about the?
Let's go to the overall feel of the game last night from Sheldon.
Okay, we'll get to clip 1 and clip 2 are definitely must plays.
Okay,
so we'll play clip 1 and then we'll go from there.
And that burns here, especially on a night like this where I thought our guys played a really good hockey game, played very hard. ultimately, when you're not scoring, like we aren't scoring here in this little stretch, you got to find ways to win 2-1, and that's tough to do, especially this building against that team. But to me, we play a great hockey game. I mean, take charge of the game early in the first period. Could have had 3 or 4 in that first period alone. No, they had their push, and I thought we managed that well through the first. I thought we again come out in the second period, have an abundance of scoring chances. We have 3 breakaways through the game, and nothing to show for those. So that's all of a sudden you got very little breathing room and margin for error, and the way things are going, you get on the wrong side of it. But very pleased with the effort of the group here tonight, and we got to find ways to close these games.
Okay, before we go to clip 2, that's the second time I've heard Sheldon Keefe say, basically, we can't win 2-1. It's hard to do. He said it against Detroit, and he said it last night. And I'm saying, no. I get it's hard, but don't tell me, don't brush it off like it can't be done. All you're telling me now is I don't want to win a game 2-1. I want to win a game 6-5, 7-6. I want to get.
Did he say that? He said that they struggled, that they don't want to win 2-1?
No, not that they don't want to win 2-1, that it's hard to do. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
All right. There's a lot of things that are hard.
Yeah.
But why don't you start teaching these guys on how to maybe win a game 2-1 and not keep opening it up. 2
it's just, something that we
on many nights
that much
is enough to win. Okay?
Yeah.
I think they've already won around 10 games when they've given up a goal or less. 10. 2's enough. You just haven't taught them how to win the 2-1 games. Or you're not sending that message because you're too busy going to your stars and pushing them out there to score another goal. And that bothers me a lot.
I get that, and I get the idea that, you can be a 2-1 winning team. That's possible. But I also think you have to be honest about what you are and who's in your room and what your DR, what your team is. And I look at this Leafs D-core and I go, who is a impact player on the back end? It's Morgan. Sometimes it's Jake McCabe, and that's it. So I don't want to play a game where I'm just trapping and whatever. Your best bet is you're in a lead offense, try to go score again. So I agree.
See, that to me, it pigeonholes you. Like, you're a coach, okay? You're telling them that our style is whatever it takes to win. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't want you to believe that we don't have the players to shut it down for 2-1. Right. I got to make you believe that whatever it takes to get the job done over 82 games, that's what we play 82 games for. Yeah. Some nights we're going to outshoot them. Some nights we're going to shut it down. Some nights we're going to piss them off. Yeah. Some nights we're going to whatever it is. That's what 82 games are all about, JB.
Yeah.
And to me, if he just wants to keep sending that message out that this is our style, we're going to outskill you, we're going to make all these great plays, we're going to wait for Austin or Marner to bail us out, the philosophy's all wrong.
But the message to me, and I believe the coaches do coach their teams through the media quite a bit, the message to me for this group is that they have to be thinking about playing down there. Like rather than just saying, okay, we're going to hold off the Oilers for a period here, like at least pushing to create your own thing. And again, it's been kind of my theme here is that if you just sit back and say, and we're trying to hold this door, they're going to come bursting through it at some point. And so you can't stop playing. So you can win 2-1, but I think you win 2-1 by continuing to play, by pushing on offense and going the other way.
But it's okay, though, to feel like if you're in your own zone, you know what the hell you're doing. And they don't look like they know what the hell they're doing in their own zone.
The article today that I wrote is a breakdown of the game-tying goal the Oilers score. And you're right. The coverage in the D zone it's disastrous. Domi is not a great defensive player. He makes a couple of misreads on the game tying goal. Matthew Nyes, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Struggle fest.
Yep.
You know, so he makes a misread. TJ Brody's not quick enough. Like it's a real issue, and I'll give you that the D zone is a little scrambly at times, but to me, a lot of that's personnel too.
Let's hear Sheldon Keefe on the trend of blowing leads.
Well, it's been like 8 days. It's been like 8 days. Like, that's the trend, 8 days. I mean, but the week before that, we won 4 in a row, got leads early, took care of them, took care of the game, played mature games against Anaheim and San Jose, played a great game against the LA Kings. Like, that's like a week ago. So my concern in this little stretch, 4 games and whatever it's been, 7 nights, 8 nights, we'd like to be on the right side of it, but we can only control what was in front of us here tonight, and the guys played a good hockey game. And we play that game over, we're going to score 4 or 5 a lot of nights. And they're a great team. They're going to get their 2 or their 3, but we win this game. Like I said, it was 3 breakaways, nothing to show for it. Bert 2-on-0, tap in, a chance to go up 2-0 early, doesn't get it. Holmberg gets robbed on a one-timer. Arnold in the first, before you know, we got 4, 5, 6 goals in some other nights. So while the story will be us giving up leads, to me, the story is more our inability to execute on these scoring chances and grow our lead and pull away and take away the will of the other team.
Sounds like John Cooper in that.
Sounds like a guy that wants to run before he can walk. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obsessed with 4, 5, and 6 goals. That's all I heard.
Luke, by the way, got him a little hot and bothered.
It starts in your own zone, guys. That's where the foundation has to start.
But don't you agree that this is personnel based, like on that back end? Liljegren, Giordano, Benoit, Brody, what? You can tell the guys all you want. Like, they don't have guys. They don't have guys right now on the back end.
I can't argue that.
I think Liljegren played 15 minutes last night and Benoit played 20. Like, they're playing.
Benoit's, according to last night, Benoit's your second best defenseman.
I mean,
Morgan.
He might.
I'll give it
to McCabe over Benoit, but yeah.
Oh, listen, I trust Benoit more than I trust McCabe.
Well, certainly McCabe.
I loved his hit last night.
Oh, did he plow Hyman?
He plowed him.
He saw Hyman set a pick on Mitch and gave him a little extra juice on that one. But, McCabe is more like he's higher event. Things are going to happen both ways. He'll jump on the play. He'll make some mistakes. He'll take some chances. Yeah. So, everyone's mad at the coach today because they've lost 4 in a row.
No,
and blown a bunch of leads.
It's not going away. The narrative of the easiest fix right now is just get rid of the coach.
Right. Like Ottawa did.
Yeah. Or like the team they played last night did.
Yep. Sure. It could be either one. So you have to be honest about what you are. Are you the stacked
Minnesota
roster
did.
Oilers? Sure. The Wild. How's that going? They're going to fire 2 coaches this year.
Yeah, it's...
the Oilers roster was not the Wild's roster or the Sens roster.
I'm with you.
So what are the leagues?
I'm with you in terms of, there's no guarantees that you get rid of Sheldon tomorrow and I don't even know what they would do. Would they go to Guy Boucher? I would imagine that they would go to Guy Boucher.
Here's what kills me about the assistant coach hire. He's on the bench.
Hey, what's he holding back?
If he has the answers, let's have them.
And
I hate the assistant coach. What is your job? You know what to do. You're just not telling the head coach?
Can I say
Okay, but you can't tell me that Guy Boucher didn't take this job thinking that, hey, if Sheldon doesn't get the job done, I'm sliding in there.
Is that good?
I can't
That's
believe
the guy you want?
I can't believe that conversation ever came up between him and Brendan Shanahan.
So you for True Living right now, I'd say where the blame is being I'd say it's probably 70% Keefe, 30% True Living, right? I think True Living is still kind of flying under the radar, although the signings are not looking great.
Yeah. Did Bertuzzi put that one in for me last night? By the way?
Please, just fire that into the back of the net.
Right.
You can't miss that.
No, you can't. If you pull this lever and you pull the fire Keefe lever, and you still aren't that good,
Yeah.
then immediately all the eyes are on you.
On who?
On Treliving.
Yeah.
It's like it's not
Keep going.
going higher.
Keep going.
Yeah. It's a big move to make. And if you're not sure that this team is it, then you're going to look even worse.
Yeah.
So
Great point.
then you wait.
That's what I mean.
Then you wait. And if Sheldon feels like 8 days ago we were on this winning streak and everything was great, then you wait for the cycle to come back with a couple of wins against Calgary and Vancouver.
Right.
But what if they don't win?
What if they don't?
Yeah.
Good question, Sammy.
thank you.
Regardless, he's coaching the next 2 games. You're on this West Coast swing here, but if
Seattle.
or 3 games, okay. So if you go get roughed up in 3 straight matches here,
By the way, Nazem Kadri's Flames on a 4-game winning streak.
yes, Canucks best team in the NHL.
Yep.
Good comeback last night.
Kraken
Yep.
just won 8 in a row before the couple of losses, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah. So it is. I understand that's the conversation today. People are talking about Sheldon a lot.
Can we play the clip from today?
Yes.
It's number. I just put it in there, Derek. It's number 4. He got asked about this. He got asked about TJ Brody and what his play is, and he kind of divulged into a really long answer. But this is kind of the coolest note from it. So if we could play it there, Derek.
Him and our guys that we need to rely upon in these key moments of closing out games, right? Like whether it's Brody that we've come to rely on over the years, or anyone that goes on the ice in those key moments, we need to execute. And some of it is relying upon those who have been here. And then the other part of it, as I'm trying to work through as a coach, is to figure out with all the new players we have, whether it's forward or defense, who are we going to rely on in those moments? Who's going to go out and get the job done? And, despite the fact we're through the halfway point of the season here now, 42 games in, I still have a lot of questions, quite honestly, about who is going to go out and we can say is for certain he is going to get the job done for us. To me, it's a little bit inconsistent throughout the group, and I would put TJ in that category.
Wow. So, that's
He's not telling anything we don't already know.
he doesn't know who to trust.
I don't know who to. I'm.
But
halfway
we
through this-
don't know who to trust. Of course, we're watching the same game.
Yeah.
So
I don't know a lot.
There's no surprise in what he's saying. We can tell.
Yeah.
We can tell
Yeah.
by the way your team responds, by the way you're juggling the lines. We get it, Sheldon.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, last night, he's made the point that the last 2 games have not been poorly played games necessarily by the Leafs, that things just haven't quite gone their way. But it does look like playoff hockey to me in the past, where the Leafs hit their 2 goals and get stuck. Was that against Detroit? They got 3 against Colorado, but against Detroit. And here again against Edmonton, they get stuck. The top guys kind of start to get slowed up. And then what do you do after that? Who protects your leads? It's the same problems that they've had.
Yeah. It just felt like every playoff game of
It
watched.
feels exactly like it, where
It
it's
felt like
coming.
the whole Panthers.
Yeah.
And I
where
felt,
it's coming.
and,
Well-
and a big turning point in that game too is I thought that the Oilers really started with the physicality.
Mm-hmm.
They really started turning it up, and it felt like
But
the Leafs went away.
And
a little
Leon's
bit.
a big
They
body out
can't-
there.
They can't compete physically. That's why
look
Sheldon
slow,
wants to
too.
open it up for 4, 5, or 6 because they want to outskill you because there is nothing left for them to beat you with. Nothing.
Well, hey, then, if you get sent into a fight with no sword, but you've got a slingshot, stand farther back and use the slingshot. That's what they're doing here.
The only thing missing this past week was someone calling them soft. They've resorted back to a soft team last
shout
night.
out Connor McDavid last night. Went out and threw 4 hits in the first period. They had that.
But every time he jumps over the boards, he jumps over like it may be his last shift.
Yeah, he's special.
Okay?
There's no comparing him to anyone.
What, did Bouchard bury Nyes in front of the net?
I don't know, but I'm not going to sit here and praise Bouchard's game last night. You'd kill him if he was a Leafs defender.
But I got no problem with what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
But Bouchard couldn't even accidentally run into anybody. And you're Matthew Nyes at what, 230?
Yeah.
What is he, a month and a half coming off that fight?
Yeah.
right? Remember we talked about him fighting and coming to the rescue of
Domi.
Yeah. And I sat here with you guys and I said, okay, that kind of sets him up moving forward here. And like I'm watching him last night and I'm like, I don't even know if he should be in the lineup.
I'd scratch him.
Okay.
I'd give him a night off for sure.
Like you don't have to clear waivers. He should go play a game in the Marlies.
What?
Okay. But he's soft now. He is supposed to be a top 6 forward this year for you. And again, too much too soon. You know how I feel about that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you've asked him now to be a top 6, and now you have no place for him in the lineup. Yeah. He's overwhelmed. He's never played this many games before. And we've heard Sheldon's right. Like, you got to be careful now with Nyes. Really careful, because it can go south.
You send him to the Marlies, he might ask to get sent somewhere else.
Listen, he couldn't play last night.
Yeah.
No. Would you agree with that, Sammy?
Yeah, 100%. No, thought it was very obvious.
Well,
and the tying goal, he's standing there front row seat, right?
And you know what the best part of all this for the Leafs brass should be is that there's only 2 power plays last night, one for each team. Played 56 minutes of 5-on-5.
I loved
that game.
Standard officiating. Like, let him play, great flow.
56 minutes of hockey last night.
I loved it.
And you got a sense for who could keep up that pace. And I felt like Nye struggled with it.
100% he struggled.
You know, and love Gregor. That guy's a useful hockey player. He can play on the third line. Cal Yarncroc had a really good night, I thought. You know, there were some good players last night, but I do think that you got a sense for you're going to ask big minutes in Nyes. If you go to playoffs, you're counting on the guy.
Yeah.
Holmberg continues to
really
be
good.
Really good. How do you not
get the puck out twice, though, in the last shift?
Yeah.
Twice in the last shift.
And he's coming up the wall. I thought he got put in a bad spot.
The guy was in the minors. Okay,
he's playing on the top line with the 2 best players in the team. You got to get the puck out there. I'm sorry. It drove me nuts. It's like he had 2 opportunities. The puck comes around, fire poker. He's the biggest body. Got to get the puck out.
The guy was buried in the minors.
I know.
And now you're telling me that
they put him on the top line.
To do this.
They put him on the top line. He's playing with 2 minutes left.
It doesn't make you a top line guy because they put you there.
The coach thinks he is.
It's not. He's still inexperienced. He's still a guy that's got 50.
This is Keefe. He's trying to figure out who he can use. And I don't know if you can.
50 career games in the NHL, but now you're a number 1 guy, and you have to get the puck out against one of the hottest teams on the planet.
I think to the point, if you can't do that, then maybe you shouldn't be in that spot in the lineup, and that's a roster issue. And
yeah, it's a coach issue. It's a manager issue. It's like, come on, guys. Put guys in positions to succeed.
There's no other guys to put there. Someone's got to play.
So why should we expect different results than what we've seen the last 4 games?
Well, I don't think Sammy's out of pocket for saying that a guy who's on the ice with 5 minutes left should get the puck out on the wall. Like, you know, it's the same in the American League or the NHL. But I know he hasn't been in those spots, and they're asking a lot of the guy. It's
the Marner stuff. People mad about Marner.
Why?
About what he said after the game.
What did he say?
You didn't hear it? You didn't see it?
Well, I read some quotes. Let's have it.
Do you want to hear it? You want to hear it? It's the Marner clip number 1.
What gives you encouragement that you guys can get back on the right track here after 4 losses?
Because we're a great hockey team, and we got to ignore what everyone else says. We know we're a great hockey team. We show it every night. I mean, these last 4 games that we've had leads, we've played some awesome hockey, some great hockey. You know, like I just said, stuff goes your way sometimes, stuff doesn't. So for us, we just can't get frustrated at each other. We know we're doing the right things. We're talking a lot, communicating well on the ice, off the ice, and it's going to come. So stay patient with it. Don't let anything outside of us frustrate us or get us, angry. Like, just got to do what we do.
What's the problem?
For me, listen, you guys know I'm like the kid from day one. I didn't like that at all.
What's the problem?
Well, first of all, I think he's wrong. They're not a great team.
Mm. But you got no problem with the player.
First and foremost, I don't agree with them that
we do not agree
that they are a great team. You can't watch what we watched the last 4 games, and I don't know what the numbers are in terms of like where they are now, regulation, or how many wins that they've had over 15 games now.
Yeah.
and the majority of them coming over, Anaheim and San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
But, like,
Mid.
I would have preferred some more humility in his comments.
I got no problem with the guy saying, he doesn't have to give an answer that means anything aside from, we're a pretty good team. We believe in ourselves.
Thanks. I get that. I
put
get
it
that.
in your article, see you later.
I get that, but I think people, and this isn't just Marner, this is any star, the general consensus is when teams struggle and your stars come out and they say, it's not good enough, I need to be better.
Yeah.
You win a ton of people over.
Yeah. You know what it kind of reminds me of, actually, to come to your side a little bit, is when Leafs were good, Joe Thornton's on the team meeting, Amazon series, and Keefe says...
That got us through our first month of the show.
I know. We got some problems with the way we're playing, and Thornton says, what do you mean? We're in first place. We're fine.
And they're not fine.
And they're not fine.
And they're not a great team.
Right. So, they do great things. They create offense like no other team. Up there with Avalanche and Edmonton.
Doesn't matter.
It's
JB.
a piece to build on. You can't take the Minnesota Wild and build onto it.
I'm not sure.
They've got a piece.
I'm not sure you can build off of three guys making great individual efforts. I don't. And Matthews may continue to score 70 goals, and it won't matter.
Unless.
I heard Versteeg on Bunkus' show today talking about this, and it was a great interview if you want to go check it out. But he talked about how when Quenneville came in there, and I think it was 5 or 6 games into the season, it was a different situation clearly than this one. And one of the first things he said to them is like, tell the media that you screwed up and like you're not feeling great about it and like you're going to be better and you apologize. And it's like they could use a little of that.
Yeah.
I'd fight my mom to win another Stanley.
They could use a little like, hey, sorry.
Yeah.
We're not.
Sammy, the word's humility.
That's what I mean. But like, just take it and don't be like, we're great.
All right, you guys are right.
People want answers. Fans today want answers.
But Sheldon never really, it's kind of from Sheldon. The way he talks too, it's like, well, we're going to come out of this. We're going to come out of this. It's like he doesn't, it seems like it's a team-wide thing.
I agree with that, Sammy. I think he sets the tone. He's downplaying right now.
For sure.
The sense of urgency to win games.
I also think when one thing he does particularly well, in my opinion, is teasing out the process and results thing. Right now, the results suck and the results have been bad, and so everyone's whatever. Do you think that they've played bad hockey the last couple games?
I think when the game's on the line and they need to count on each other the most, they've played bad hockey.
That's what I want to hear out of him. That's the piece. It's fine if he wants to say, I like a lot of what's happening here, whatever, but you got to take a piece of it when you're losing this much and say, here's our issue. Like, there's got to be something where
every team in the NHL has good stretches of hockey in every hockey game they play in.
That's a great point.
The San Jose Sharks have had to be like, wow, we were really good for those 10 minutes.
But when the game is
for
on,
60, then that's
the last
the
10 is the
problem.
most important when it's tied.
when the game is on the line, where are you guys? That's all. As a team, like that McLeod goal.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 guys on the other side watching, and then Matthews is in front of the net, and he tries to.
He's the only guy with a guy.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he doesn't really have a guy because McDavid's completely screening Jones, and he tries a kick save, I think, at the end.
That's that one, though. That is
right.
2-minute shift. Riley iced it when he shouldn't have, and just out of kind of desperation. Guys are running around tired. You know, it's accumulation because Holmberg wouldn't get it out. It's an accumulated goal, that one.
What do you want to do? Go to break? Or
Yeah, we'll hit a break and then come back with Naz.
Okay. Plenty more on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. Just getting started. Don't go away. Welcome back into the Real Kyper and Bourne Show as we await Nazem Kadri with the Leafs. Prepare, get ready to go into Calgary. So we'll get into that when he joins up. I know we talked briefly about the Leaf defense, but where's your level of concern with a guy like TJ Brody?
Yeah, so super high. Watching
super high.
Agree.
Watching Hyman blows doors off for the disallowed goal.
Review there.
Great review.
Love that review.
Okay, what a goal, by the way.
Put him on a poster.
Unbelievable.
Edge work.
Strength. Yeah, he's had 6 disallowed goals as an Oiler. which is wild to me.
You know what that is? He's on the goalie's head for a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Boys, TJ Brodie looks to me like he's burnt out.
Yeah, I had the same thought. Earlier in the year, I wrote an article about how his gaps have gotten a lot worse. It just, every time.
There is no sense of urgency in his game.
Right. Even getting back on the game-tying goal there on Ryan, he's just kind of, I'll get there when I get there. And that's not going to work. Like, they count on him to play top minutes against tough matchups. And
teams are eating him up on the forecheck. They're just, it's into his corner, and it's not pretty.
Yeah.
And he's a guy we never spent time ever talking about.
He's been a tentpole for them. Like, you just could count on him. He was Hyman on defense, basically, where you're just like, hey, he does his job. We count on him, whatever. And with him struggling. And you can't fix it, by the way. He has to, maybe unless you rest him or something, but you're not trading him.
A level of concern for John Tavares as equal as TJ Brodie?
But he had some moments last night.
Yeah, like last night he got the puck around the crease a few times or whatever, but I mean, he has not produced.
You're not paying $11 million for moments.
No.
I
am concerned about him.
The one thing that I think it's been noticeable, at least this week, is the foot speed, guys. For me, anyways.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue. You just played Colorado, Detroit, Edmonton, 3 really fast teams. And, you expect to see that in the playoffs. And, I thought he struggled there a bit.
In general, my biggest takeaway after watching them play non-Sharks and Ducks is that they're looking pretty slow.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of teams that just feels like they're getting blown by a lot. And I don't know if that's – I don't know how you quantify that. You probably look that up with your fancy little machine over there.
I got no answers there.
But it just feels –
I'm not sure if starting Tavares at center – tomorrow night's the easy answer. I think Sheldon's got to start thinking about protecting him a little bit, possibly moving him to the wing.
Really? Wow. Oh, we're that part of the season.
Yeah, for me anyways.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, who are you going to replace him with? Who are you going to put in the middle?
Well, Pontus will go back. Pontus
Domi.
has been playing center.
Domi
on the second line.
Domi, second line center?
Yep.
Boy, I have not liked the way he's made decisions in the offensive zone. He throws pucks away quick for me. I understand he's a talented kid, and he can play, but you're gonna get more there from Domi than Tavares.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but
better skater, no question.
Sure,
it's quicker.
Yeah,
and there's a level of concern on a lot of guys, but I don't know. Going in again, do you want to try Nyes?
Got to be Willie. Got to be Willie.
Nyes, Tavares, and
they're gonna have a nice long
again.
look at it.
They're gonna have a nice long look. Willie at center. We back.
It's an option, but I think he's got to get the bingo bangle balls back out.
There is a potential that if there's a new coach that comes in, the first thing they do
is make Willie center. Yeah.
And you're all like, oh yeah, and it's like you get the best out of them, and it's like that was a galvanizing moment. Like you can write the article now.
Yeah,
get that one ready in your drafts.
We're moving Tavares to wing. Willie's going to play center.
You could I could see it happening. But anyways, still waiting on Nazem, I think.
There's not a lot of guys who defend as a priority. I think, okay, Willie, is he going to play D in his own zone? Not sure. Tavares, not a strength of his, right? Coming back in D in his own zone. Domi, not really his thing, playing D in his own zone.
That's what championship teams do.
Defend in their own zone.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So is this a lost cause now?
Not a lost cause. I mean, I don't think Jack Eichel's a defensive wizard or anything. You can Phil Kessel won a Stanley Cup. You can have guys that don't defend as a priority and win.
I know. But Jack Eichels and the Phil Kessels of the world are surrounded by good players. When you have Jack Eichel leading you in Buffalo, and when you have Kessel leading you in Toronto,
Austin, Mitch, and Morgan
they're no good.
Yeah.
All right, let's welcome in Nazem Kadri, Calgary Flames, as they await the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thanks for joining us, man. How are you?
Yeah, anytime, guys. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're good. Unlike the Leafs, tomorrow night you come in with a little momentum, overtime win against Arizona. The overall feeling, Naz, for you, your hockey club, and where you're at right now?
Yeah, it's been good. It's definitely been good. Recently, obviously, The dad's got us going a little bit, I think, and, kind of generated some momentum for us. And, it's always fun hockey when you're getting W's and playing the way we're playing. So we're going to look to, build on that.
You got 10 points in the month of January, humming along, 8 or 9 game point streak. What's changed for you guys? There was a point early in the season where it felt like catastrophe was looming, but you guys have really found your stride here.
I think we've battled, and, that's a great quality to have. Being down but not out. I think, lots of third period comebacks this year, and just being a resilient group and just having that belief and that trust that, we can get the job done. If we're all playing together, I think, we could be a playoff type caliber team, and a team that's hard to beat. So, it's a, as you know, hockey's a confidence and momentum thing, and right now we're riding that wave.
We're talking to Nazem Kadri of the Calgary Flames. So just to touch on that a little bit, no doubt that everybody's well aware of who needs a new contract, who doesn't, who's potentially on the trading block, who isn't. Has this been, Naz, for you guys in that room, a bit of a rallying where you guys kind of galvanize or come together and say, hey, let's give them every reason not to trade us? Is that those conversations gone on earlier?
Yeah, exactly, Kyper. I mean, you're bang on there. I think, just kind of having that underdog mentality and understanding that, it's kind of us against the world type feeling where, people don't really give you much of a chance, and you want to throw that back in their face. So for us, I think in the dressing room, we've been pretty focused, and of course there's, looming contracts and this and that. But, when it comes to preparing for games, I think we're doing it all together. And, it's a scary team when that happens.
All right, Naz, I got to ask you a question from our producer here. He's convinced. You've obviously played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you've played in Colorado and then Calgary now, and you've seen kind of both sides of things. He's convinced that players care more about beating the Leafs. Is there anything to that?
You know what? That's absolutely factual.
Right on.
And I honestly did not realize that until I kind of moved out of the Toronto bubble. But everyone's gunning for the Leafs. I mean, that's it's such a historic and terrific franchise with a lot of great history. And I don't know. It's just it's a little extra incentive. I mean, especially for myself. Being a former Maple Leaf, I think it's, you always have this game, these couple games circled on your calendar, and always, especially when you're rolling through Toronto. So, I guess that'd be pretty accurate.
Now, the Leafs are coming in with a losing streak. Over your career, you had a few of those here in Toronto, but the overall sense on how to handle the media in a Canadian city when things aren't going well. And I know you've had some instances in Calgary there. Has your experience as a Maple Leaf been very helpful for you now at this stage of your career when there is a lot of outside noise?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it just kind of teaches you how to handle that adversity, and sometimes it can be tough to do, but having that experience always helps. But things can change a lot in this sport, from week to week. All of a sudden you're a hero to an absolute flop in the matter of 3 days. So things can snowball on you quickly, but we obviously respect the team we're playing, and we got to be ready to go.
All right, well, listen, we're going to let you go as you prepare for the Leafs. Can you kind of take it easy on them a little bit, just for the sake?
Our show needs a break.
Our show really could use a night off.
I can't promise anything.
We understand. Naz, thanks for doing this, pal. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
All right, fellas. No problem.
Nazem Kadri, almost creeping up towards a point a game, 36 and 44 games played.
I actually had it wrong. Sorry, Kip. He's got 10 points in his last 7 games. Humming.
Yeah.
Should have been a Leaf for his whole life.
Yeah, probably.
Breaks my heart.
That was a tough one in retrospect.
Yeah.
Not many guys.
I mean, I shouldn't say in retrospect. That was a tough one at the time.
Not many. Yeah, and it was just a horrible trade that people try to defend. And it's just like, he was too passionate.
So
cared too much. Better trade him.
Going into tomorrow night.
Everything's great.
Everything's great. Yeah, going in tomorrow when Kadri's breaking down the wing, who does he see in that? Jones?
No, it's
Samsonov?
Sammy time.
It's Sammy.
Yeah.
See, I've been so wrong on
Jones
all of
was
this.
really good, wasn't he?
Hated that. Dry
No,
side.
can I tell you something?
Though, yeah.
I'm telling you, I could have put the pads on last night, and I'm stopping that backhand from Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a horrific goal to give up.
I never know how to evaluate a goalie performance when they're so good, and then you give up one of those. It's like he was really good.
And I'm just tipping my hat to him for holding the fort all this time.
Yeah.
And he was good. He made some great saves last night. But you cannot give up that backhand.
No.
He was just standing like outside of the net. It was really bad.
And you know what's funny is it was a really tough sort out for the Leafs on the back check. Like McCabe had been in deep, and they made good reads.
Yep.
And they sorted it out great. And Tavares went to the right guy.
Should have been the
and then
goalie
they
catching it like
still
this.
shot it in the net.
Should have been a caught.
Oh.
Caught.
Yeah.
Play over.
Made a huge mistake.
Like Draisaitl's playing last night with Fogle and McLeod.
Like that McLeod. Look good.
Yeah.
Not even just on the game winner.
Anybody can look good when they're all by themselves in front of the net.
Not just on the winner. He was noticeably good.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But
I've said this about Matthews. I think Matthews should drive a line alone. If you're so thin, go ahead and give him Yarncroc and Holmberg. I think he can do it.
Yeah.
Does he want to, though?
I don't care.
He's getting paid however much a year. All these guys don't get to make the choices anymore. They got everything they've ever wanted. I gotta do a read. From February 1st through the 3rd, All-Stars are in Toronto for the NHL All-Star Weekend, and we'll be giving away tickets to the different events and episodes today until January 26th. Today we have tickets for the NHL All-Star Thursday, which includes a PWHL 3-on-3 showcase, the NHL All-Star Player Draft, plus a tribute to the 1967 Leafs. To enter for your chance to win, text today's code word SHOWCASE to 590-590, and we have another code word in tomorrow's episode, this time for Friday's NHL All-Star Skills Competition. So be sure to tune in. Today's code word, again, is showcase, fellas. And how about me being right about Kadri?
What's that?
Everybody cares more about playing the Leafs.
Yeah.
It's factual.
look at you.
Sure.
It's like you
I knew.
gave birth.
I knew. I
Look
was
at that
so
look
happy,
on your face
so
right now.
happy you asked. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a good question. Also, for the All-Star game, we're going to be there. We're going to be there on Friday. People want to say hello, right?
Yeah,
Are we allowed to say hello, or do we have security?
Where are we? What is it?
Under the Gardner
convention
Expressway.
Oh, yeah.
I told you already.
We don't know where to tell you to go yet.
Yeah,
we are going to be there.
We're going to be live from the ferry docks.
Oh, I can't wait. It's like a little road trip for the real Kyper and Bourne
Oh, I
show.
know.
3 years, our first one.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Nobody will care we're there. They'll be second-rate citizens.
But your fans will.
All right. Anything else on your plate, Leaf-wise?
That's
Before
tiring.
we
when
go
it's
to-
So much.
tiring when they suck. It's tiring.
Well, they didn't really suck last night. They just
I think Ruby's at home putting voodoo dolls in Keefe.
All right,
Pins and
we're going to
voodoo
take a quick break. When we come back, Jason Bukala, former NHL scout, does a terrific job for us here on the Real Kyper and Bourne show, sportsnet.ca. He's going to join us, and we'll get into more coaching and what a potential move could do to jolt a hockey club. It's Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, and Sammy McKee. More Real Kyper after the break. Welcome into the Real Kyper and Bourne show. This is the national edition. We are live on Sportsnet, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, and Sportsnet 960 in Calgary. Always this hour, Real Kyper and Bourne, brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Sammy McKee, Justin Bourne, Derek Brandeo, Jen Rolnick with you in the next hour. We're going to welcome in a few minutes Jason Bukala, former NHL scout, writer with Sportsnet.ca.
Pro Hockey Group.
Pro hockey. I can read.
Is it in there? I thought I didn't put it in. That's why I was worried.
Buddy,
Did I put it there?
Oh,
I
yeah.
did? Okay, good.
You're a pro.
Good. I wasn't sure it was kind of a... Anyway,
I work alone.
sorry, buddy.
No, not really. I don't work alone.
If that's true, do I get an hour off here? See
We
ya.
could use an hour off.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure I said it because
What?
our boss texts us. We'll be live at the NHL Fan Fair at the Metro Convention Center on NHL All-Star Weekend.
Okay.
NHL Fan Fair at the Metro Convention Center.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure if you're listening.
We're not under a bridge.
No.
All
we're at a
right.
real place.
Cool.
Yeah, there you go. Just wanted to make sure I mentioned that because our boss texted me.
Good. Yes, smart. That's always the way to go. Do you want to talk about the Oilers last night?
Yeah, I do, because to be honest with you, I didn't think they were great.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were that good. Yeah.
Is that
And
you
like,
don't think the Oilers are great? Or last
what was
night you
I?
didn't think-
What impressed me the most is that they were down 2-0. They stuck with it. They pushed through it, and they weren't that great.
Like, as in they still have another gear.
I don't know what they have left, but they
might be the best.
when
team
you
in the
when you
NHL.
can find ways to win like that, and I didn't think Darnell Nurse handled the puck very well last night. Bouchard's still this guy with a rocket, a rocket of a shot, but sometimes
Tough read on the Matthews one.
really tough. Like he'll never win a Norris. How's that?
Yeah, it's fair.
Ever.
Yeah.
But he can bomb a puck like Al McGinnis. And that might be alone to help him score 60 points and make $8 million
I
a
just
year.
can't. I have a hard time imagining beating that team 4 times in a best of 7.
Oh, that's for who? Any team?
Who's good? Vegas?
Yeah.
LA?
Vancouver,
But you're
Edmonton
assuming-
conference final.
You're assuming
Very
you're gonna,
possible.
you're assuming that you're going to continue to get that goaltending from Skinner last night.
Well,
and,
by
and
the way,
was
he
good.
looked excellent.
Yeah, he looked good.
Like the read he made on the Holmberg one-timer from Matthews, he didn't buy
Yeah.
Matthews shooting for a second, which is a bold choice. And he made the right one. I thought he looked
Yeah.
really good.
Another thing that came out of that game, I don't know if people have talked about this, but next time we do best on best, Zach Hyman is absolutely there.
Well, yeah, is it happening soon?
Yeah, and next year, right? They're going to play something. He is
I don't think there's anyone close that works
with him
as hard as this guy.
Yeah.
Like I get McDavid, and he's a force too, but there are no off shifts for this guy.
Yeah.
Like Leafs don't even have anyone remotely close to this guy when it comes to just like
Doggedness.
on a bone.
Yeah.
It is remarkable how he's gone at age 30 to, I don't know how old
Dude,
he
he's
is.
Jose Bautista.
It's unbelievable.
The disallowed goal was a display of hockey. I mean, my Lord.
And we had Rob Brown on yesterday, and he had the comment where he said that that Hyman does as much for McDavid as McDavid does for Hyman.
Yes.
And you see it.
Yeah.
He's digging out so many pucks from the lanes that McDavid has to the net. To me, he's playing on McDavid's wing for Team Canada next time we do it.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
Crazy to think.
But
You're right. I don't disagree
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah. Anyways, got Books?
Yep, we got Books. Let's welcome in Jason Bukala, former NHL scout. Does a great job writing for us on sportsnet.ca. Good friend of the show. Books, what's going on? How are you, pal?
I'm doing fantastic, guys. I don't know how much of a fan of the show I'm going to be after this segment, but we'll roll it out anyways, for sure.
Okay, so pretty signature game last night, for the whole country to see. 2 top players in the game right now, in McDavid and Matthews. You tell me where you want to start on what you got out of last night's contest.
Well, from a fan's perspective, I thought it was highly entertaining, to be honest with you. I mean, the opening 20 minutes was a track meet. I thought they traded some chances. I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but I'm going to disagree a little bit with the coach in Toronto when he says, yeah, the Leafs hit, across the post on Bertuzzi, the big save moving right to left there on Holmberg, and Nylander in the second period, even off the crossbar. But even in the first period, guys, if you want to break down the tape, I mean, they gave up some grade A chances in the middle of the ice around the crease. Jones was really good, I thought. But, again, they traded opportunities in the first period. I was listening to you talk about Bouchard there before I came on, and this is what you get, isn't it? And the thing of it is, on the first Leaf goal, great kind of sidewall rotation. Matthews comes around the back door, slides back door there for the open tuck, but Bouchard's just sleeping at the wheel, guys. Like, and that's in the first 5 minutes. And that's actually like the opening shift against the top player. And you get that player card before the game. Like, who they're starting. Let's at least shut it down for a period. So I don't know. There was a lot of great and there was some bad, but it was highly entertaining.
Yeah, and the Oilers really found a way. They started taking the play to the Leafs at one point, and the end result was that the Leafs' top guys ended up being outplayed, I think you can say, by the Oilers' top guys. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the Leafs. I know as a lot of scouts and coaches look at things in segments, and we had chatted about something. What have you seen of the Leafs stars over the past stretch?
Well, we're at that time of year, fellas. We're coming out of World Juniors. We got the prospects games bouncing around, the All-Star games on the horizon, and of course the trade deadline sneaking up on us. So it's that time of year. The pro meetings and amateur draft meetings are starting to happen, and we're starting to strategize. So my way of doing things is that I broke down the Leafs in a 15-game segment. I really think that tells, a story. We're hearing a lot of noise in the last 24 hours about, well, we were good 2 weeks ago for a 4-game run, and then now this has been this. But I broke them down over 15 games, and I just want to present some things to you from an in-house meeting perspective. So if Tree's asking me a question, I'm just going to tell him what I'm finding out and what I'm seeing out there. I'm going to present this to you. This is over the last 15 games. The Leafs have played 8 bottom 16 teams. They've played 7 top 16 teams, so call them playoff teams, or at least right on the bubble, okay? Over that period of time, the core 4, if we want to call it that, and we do want to call it that, Nylander, Matthews, Marner, Tavares, 33 games played, because in between there, Matthews had an illness and he had to skip out a game. So I had to massage it a bit. But over those 33 games against bottom 16 teams, 48 points plus 9 out of the Leaf core. 48 and 9. In the top 16 games, they played them 7 games, call it a playoff series. Let's look at it that way. A playoff series, 7 games. You want your best to be your best, right? 10 points over 27 games between them, minus 13.
Is that good?
So, if I'm being asked the question, what do we need to do to fill some holes? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our GM and I'm going to say, okay, well, let me look at the lay of the land. So let me pull up a team that I believe is a real good team and call it the Vancouver Canucks. Let's go to the Vancouver Canucks. What are they been doing over the last segment? Same thing, 15 games. Their top line, 54 points plus 31 in 15 games played. Hughes and Aronik, 22 points plus 24. Demko, 916, 257. And then the Florida Panthers, who we have to catch, right? We would all agree with that. They're a juggernaut in the Atlantic.
Yep.
How about this one? In the top, exact same thing. Their splits are the same. 8 games against bottom 16, 7 games against top 16. Reinhart, Barkov, Verhaeghe, Tkachuk. In the top 16 games, 28 games played, 48 points plus 16.
Sam's cringing over here.
Books, man. God.
Well, here's where I'm going with it, fellas. Now, I haven't even got started. I'm sorry, I'm foaming at the mouth a bit here, but I got to look at our draft capital. I'm going to look at our draft capital. I'm going to look at our asset management. So imagine that our top assets are, like the Hildebys of the world, Easton Cowan, Fraser Minton, Niemela, Noah Chadwick playing out in Saskatoon. That's our best 5. Okay? That doesn't mean that the Colorado Avalanche and the Calgary Flames and the San Jose Sharks valued our 5 guys in their draft cycle of prospects the way we do. That's our top 5. Who out of that mix do we really want to give up in a trade scenario based on the statistics I'm providing you right now to get us to where we want to go? I'm leaning right now that the body of work, if I'm put on the spot right now, this isn't the time to be trading out assets, draft capital. We got to run the table with what we have right now, because I'm going to tell you guys, we got a lot of holes here. We have 13 wins out of 42 games in 60 minutes played. 13 60-minute wins. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but I'm trying to be a realistic team builder is what I'm trying to do for you.
Yeah.
So you're Books, you're telling us a team like Toronto could actually be looking at all of this and say, keep our powder dry. Let's go into the off season and reassess.
What could we get for TJ Brody at the deadline?
Unload.
Well, I don't know if they're going to unload. I think they're good enough that they believe that they could potentially win a round. But I'm
As
not
is.
adding to the group to make that happen. Let's manage our own rentals, if you will. But then if I'm putting into play anything to plug a hole, it's going to be out of my draft capital cupboard, like one of my fifth rounders. I've got 2 fifth rounders. It's not going to bring back much, guys. But what I'm trying to say is you're going to have to shop around in the, in the swamp, if you will, to try and find something to plug a hole here or there. I'm watching that game last night. I don't know that they can get any more out of certain players. I really don't. That was 40 minutes of, I think, mostly what they can give. And then it falls off in the third period. They run out of gas. Let's be honest. Like when it's a track meet and there's a little bit more relentless compete on the other side of the ledger, this team finds a way against the really good teams to kind of run out of gas a little bit. So, I just want to be realistic. I don't think this is a Stanley Cup contending team. I think they're up against it in a lot of different ways in terms of draft capital, in terms of asset management, the depth of the assets. And I don't know that I'm selling anything more of what I have right now to further jeopardize the future. I think that we reassess in the offseason when some of this money comes off the books because, clearly, the Bertuzzis and the Domies and stuff like that, we got to take a longer, harder look at that stuff and see where it goes. But the numbers don't lie. And I'm not talking 5 games, 4 games. I'm not talking about a week. Like I could go back 25 games if you guys really wanted me to, and I could tell you the picture doesn't get a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Jason Bukala, who does a terrific job on Sportsnet.ca. So what you're telling us is don't expect Brad Treliving to spend a first rounder on Chris Tanev. So what team in Canada is in a position to give up a first rounder to go for it?
Vancouver Canucks for sure. Winnipeg Jets, I would say so as well. Here's one thing that I'm going to throw out at you guys, and it's going to start coming out before the trade deadline. This draft cycle, so putting value on draft cycles is what's going to start to happen too, right? So there's 2 things at play. The value of a first-round pick in this draft cycle, and if you're a good team, you're talking late 20s. So teams are going to start to look at that, and they're going to say, well, I don't really love that area, even between 25 and 35. I'm not in love with that. But guess what? That team's got some assets or an asset or 2, even a secondary asset that I might value more than that 25 to 35 guy with my first round pick, if you're following me. That's where Toronto falls off. They have a first round pick that could be called 20, all right, which might have value, but it's not going to have exceptional value in this rotation of the draft. So where do you go next? You go to an asset. And they don't have that asset, fellas, the way that the Winnipegs do, the McGroartys, the Salamonson kid in Sweden. I mean, in Vancouver, look at the guys that they got right now. The Wielanders, the Lekaramakis, even Podkolzin in the minors, Atu Ratu in the minors. Like, they've got some flexibility there.
It's fascinating, looking at it from, I always look at the Winnipeg Jets, Books, and for years I was like, why don't they do more? Why aren't they more active? But they're, Cheveldayoff's been very patient, and now you can see the assets pile up over time, and they do seem like they're in a position if they wanted to get more aggressive. Where the Edmonton Oilers are at in their cycle, watching that team who's now won 11 straight games, is this the time for them to say, all right, we're going to take on the West. We think we got a legit shot at this.
Yeah, for sure, Edmonton. I mean, but again, they're in a little bit of a different scenario. I would suggest that they're probably better seasoned to be a playoff, to go on a run in the playoffs, even than those other 2 teams. Like, I really love Winnipeg. Yeah. I love the structure.
I agree with you.
Vancouver's on the come see, but I would still say Edmonton is the most dangerous crop there, okay, or the most dangerous team. Again, though, guys, like the asset management, the costs associated with bringing in a guy in, like, so some of the guys that when I look at Edmonton, like I look at McLeod in the 3-hole, okay, and I immediately think to myself, okay, it works for now, I get it, but then I start thinking on my wish list, like, so Monahan's out there at 1.9, if you could massage it, because he doesn't necessarily fit the mold of their team per se, like in a track meet scenario, but he does the other things very well, doesn't he? Like, he can kill penalties. He's almost 60% in the faceoff circle. We all know that matters, okay, come playoff time. The Adam Henriques in Anaheim, they're going to absorb some cash, depending on what kind of money you want to send back. It might have, massage your roster a bit. There's a really serviceable guy too for those types of contending teams. 18 minutes a night, play all situations, secondary power play, 56% in the faceoff circle. And he's gone to a Stanley Cup final before. These things matter in the room. So Edmonton's the team. Not sure about the asset management. It's going to be curious to see how they do that.
Hey, Books, when we go back not too far ago, it sure looked at the time that Kevin Cheveldayoff was trading Pierre-Luc Dubois in a position of weakness. And, I mean, all the cards were against him. A guy that wanted out. Teams knew that. And yet somehow he was able to flip it into really good pieces coming back. Is that trade out there more, or should teams be more confident now if they were willing to move at the time, the thought of a top 3 or top 6 players, that they could turn it into 2 or 3 serviceable players?
I think absolutely they got to be aware of that, and that's those discussions are happening right now. Real hard to make that happen at the trade deadline. Easier to do that in the off season when kind of everybody's had a little bit of a chance to let things simmer a little bit differently. But that trade right there, it went beyond the X's and O's of the game. It went, it fit in certain categories: skill with Velarde, speed and veteran presence, elsewhere in the lineup. But more importantly, they had a plan to build a team and a personality amongst that group. They needed a reset in Winnipeg. I think we all knew that, like on the outside looking in with the captain and different things. And there's just some noise at the end of last year. Let's just say that. So they addressed that with some real savvy moves. And I don't know that Winnipeg needs to do anything at the deadline. Like getting Connor back, they're going to probably leave money on the books here. I talked to Chevy last week. Bourne, you and I were kind of talking about a little bit last week. Mm-hmm. I talked to Chevy, and he's like, it's got to be the perfect type of fit. Yeah, we'd like to have somebody else in the 3-hole to maybe do some heavy lifting. Maybe we want another defenseman, or there's a bunch of maybes, but it's going to have to fit what they have going on in the dressing room off the ice, because they're really, watch that team. Like that team, they're towing the rope in the same direction every shift. They just love each other to death. You can just tell.
So, Books, this time of year for a scout, coaches are telling their GMs, hey, here's what I'm missing. GMs are looking around the league going, okay, what are the prices? Here's what I can get. I always say that scouts and the team knows first about their prospects and where they are and which guys are, have disappointed in their first year pro maybe. How often now would a GM then go to a scouting staff and talk about their internal prospects and say, where are we at with this guy? Do we believe in him? How would you feel if we moved this guy, that guy, the other guy?
Well, so it's super important. That's the beginning of the process at the meetings. Both. So I can only speak to my history, and that's like, so in Florida, both on the pro side with Altour and then myself and my staff on the amateur side. But Brian McCabe was our director of player development. The very first thing that we would do is get a lay of the land of what's going on with our group. Right. Okay, because there's a trickle-down effect there, fellas. It can help strategize your draft targets. I'm not talking we're all drafting the best player in the first round, so don't get me wrong there. But as Kyper's saying, this guy's ready, this guy's in Europe, he's close to coming over, blah, blah, blah. You can start to massage where your targets are around the world, call it second round and beyond from there. On the pro side, it's the exact same thing. We're hearing the GM might present to you that he's got a call on player A. Denisenko, for example, who got traded out of Florida this year to Vegas. Okay, he was our first round pick at the Dallas draft. Vegas has always had a shine on for him. It didn't work out. He's in Henderson now, scoring over a point a game. They love him. He might end up wearing a uniform at the NHL level for Vegas. That's an example of a call. Do we really value this guy? What's his trajectory? If it's a no, we move him out. But it could be the other way around too. It could be that we value him more than whatever the guy coming back, even in short order, could be. So it's delicate. But the one thing I have to say is this: don't ever fall too in love with your prospects. Yeah. You can't do it. You got a Euro guy for 4, you got a CHL guy for 2. then we're shopping in free agency at the college level, the Euro level, blah, 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 blah. It's all team building. It's all fluid. I always told our guys, as soon as you draft them, hand them off to Kyper and pretend like it doesn't exist anymore, as hard as that is to do.
And I want to ask you from a scouting perspective, when perhaps you've leaned in heavily on one guy in your organization, and you're basically the reason why we draft this player. So in Toronto, we watched Pontus Holmberg drafted, I think, 156th overall. He apparently had this horrible camp, gets sent to the minors, and today he's starring on the number one line with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Like, is that equivalent to a scout giving birth?
I'll tell you what's the equivalent to a scout giving birth. Is the Mackenzie Weegers of the world when they're the third last pick of the draft and they go off the way. So the Paul Gallaghers of the world who work for us in Halifax, he's still getting free coffee and donuts all over out there right now. No, you know what, Kyper, like, Holmberg's not a one. Like, it's, this is a nice story that he's an NHL player. That's where it's a feather in your cap. But it speaks more to where we're kind of all over the place right now, that he's playing in the spot that he's playing. That's I don't know, I'm trying to be kind.
Well, what you're saying. It's by weakness, but not by strength. This decision.
They're identifying outwardly. They're saying all the right things. Inwardly, behind closed doors, they're like, oh my God. Like, what are we going to do to plug this hole or plug that hole? Or, they're seeing some things. They're seeing the same things that I'm talking about here. They'll never talk about that. And it's, I'm not trying to, I don't want our viewers to, blow us up and say this is a completely bad news story. They're a good team. They're a playoff team. This isn't a Stanley Cup contending team. Okay. So let's be realistic coming out of meetings and make sure that we strategize. It's okay to reset in the off season and go from there. Not every year can we keep having the same discussion. Some things have to work better a different way.
Great stuff. You got anything else?
I'm just going to say, you don't know this market then. It's because they're going to say it. I agree the team shouldn't, Books. I'm 100% with you. But that's what's going to be said by fans. How do you not go in with these guys on your team? But I'm with you.
Books.
No, I 100%. I get it. I'm just trying to give you guys some background noise that if I was asked, this is just how I would have to realistically present it. That's all.
For sure.
Hey, great stuff. Really appreciated the feedback on players who play against top teams and bottom feeders. That was some interesting stuff. Books, thanks for doing this, man.
Thanks, Books.
No problem. Hey, Sammy, wipe away the tears, buddy. Tomorrow's a new day.
Thanks, Books. Appreciate it, buddy.
Jason Bukala.
I would actually like to see like the whole league, like leading scorers, stats by playoff and non-playoff opponent, like at the time you played them. Because I do think you would find guys who feast on the weak teams.
Yeah, four of them right here.
Oh, good gravy.
Well,
Willie's
not feasting on anybody right
you
now.
Played
bad at hockey.
No, stop it.
Generally,
no, you were competitive, but like I don't ever recall feeling like I'm going to have a tough night because I'm playing a certain team. I always felt like they're all the same. And the approach to play is all the same. And I get it. There's some teams that are really, really good. I get that part, but I just, is it psychological?
Well, I think it's psychological in your preparation, going into a game where you're like, okay, this is a legit team. Got to put in a little more, be on my toes tonight. I will say I probably succumb to the whole thing where you're up 3-0 against a bad team and you go, God, this is going to be a walk. And all of a sudden you're down 4-3 or something. I get the idea of just like not keeping your foot on the gas, which is not what the Leafs have done. They've been playing good teams who have outgooded them.
The Florida number was just a real. As soon as he started into the Florida thing, I'm like, oh, this is
lighten up.
I'm like, this is going to be a good number. I know it's going to be a good number. It shows you that, I don't know. I think a lot of Leaf fans, like you said, would have a really hard time swallowing the pill that they're not going to be making
a sit out this season.
But yeah, I think it's getting closer to that.
They're the only team right now that is truly trending in the wrong direction in Canada in terms of expectations
Yeah, sure.
today?
Yeah, Ottawa struggle.
No,
fest,
but
they're
they were done a while ago.
Yeah, what's really, really fun is how good, legitimately good, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Winnipeg are. It'd be nice if one of them were in the East, so they didn't have to eliminate each other.
Yeah,
at
but
some point.
they're all good enough that they won't.
They could go deep.
Like there's definitely a real shot at a all Canadian conference final in the West
For sure.
which Rogers would probably be happy about. They haven't had a ton of.
No,
we'll take anything we can get right now
I
in this
think
country.
the Leafs. Yeah,
I
think the Leafs.
I don't agree with that, but Rogers does.
If they would get, if the Leafs can patch a hole or two here, we know they can create. They're in a bad. You know how we always say it's never as good as it looks or as bad as it looks during one of these patches. I don't think this is a team that can't win a playoff round, and that's a pretty good hockey team. So I am curious to see if they will still, unlike what Books thinks they should do, if they would still make some sort of aggressive move.
Yeah, drop down to the. But here's the thing: it's like, well, maybe now that they won't have to face Florida, but Florida's going to end up in the first place position, and the Leafs are going to be a wild card, and they're going to have to play Florida in the first round. They're going to play Florida in the first round of the playoffs.
I am fascinated by the thought of what a Leafs sell-off would look like. Bertuzzi, at half his thing. Brody, like you got some pieces that if you wanted to sell, you can bring back some firsts.
Sorry to do more Leafs here, but who's going for Bertuzzi right now? He's got one goal in his last 22 games.
Yeah, he had 10 points in one playoff round.
You could sell that off.
Yeah. Imagine
the Leafs may have to eat a little bit, but
trade him to Indiana for a few first rounders.
So if we, maybe we'll save this after the break. You go to game time, and then we'll go to break.
All right. It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Time. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. I am way too bad at reading things to have something play.
Also playing while you're talking.
Oh my God. Like I immediately lose my train of thought. Like it is gone.
A complete goldfish.
I need blinders. I spook like a horse. So I'm looking. There's only 2 games tonight.
That's kind of funny.
What?
That's good.
That I spook like a horse?
Yeah.
Okay. Other stuff I don't. It's not very funny.
I feel like I got approval for laughing at that.
Okay, good. One game got postponed tonight due to weather. So there's only 2 games on the schedule.
Or was it Buffalo?
Yeah, Buffalo got postponed.
So the Bills can play outdoor, but the Sabres can't play inside?
How about
I guess
TNT, because of this, instead of showing Buffalo, was it Chicago, has to show, was it Florida, Detroit, or some really good game?
That probably should have been the game. Right. Yeah. So that's the game I'm looking at for tonight. Can I ask you how many games in a row you think Sam Reinhart has scored a goal?
I unfortunately know this answer.
It's a long time.
7, right? 9
he scored a goal
goals
in
over
every
7
game
games.
since the new year. If there's a hockey game being played,
Listen,
Sam Reinhart has scored it.
I'm a huge Sam Reinhart fan, and I was not in those early years in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I thought second overall pick in the draft was good player, but at 1, 2, or 3, you want franchise face with those picks. And he is in that kind of Zach Hyman kind of wow year.
I'll probably wear this one a little bit at some point, but I just don't think a 7-year deal is going to age well to him, or 8-year
well,
deal or whatever.
it
just
it's
doesn't skate
also
well enough for me.
What kind of worries you is that it's the Jonathan Huberdeau effect, where you're just having a career year,
and he's having a massive shooting percentage year too, like double his high ever.
If he came back,
high is 15, he's like 27 or something.
If he came back and scored 25 next year, like, would you be shocked?
No,
right? So you got to be careful now on what kind of term and money you want to pay him.
So let me get this straight. What you're saying is don't pay him at his absolute apex.
It's not always about the Leafs.
And just as a note, the last game he didn't score in was December 30th against Montreal. And the game before that, he had 2. The game before that, he had 2. The game before that, he had 1. So he's a little hot.
Wow.
And what I'm getting to is you'd be an idiot not to bet on him to score, because all he does is score. So give me a goal from him and a win against him.
With it.
Plus 210.
But he's turned himself into a real leader on that club too, which I love.
Yeah.
Like he's captain material for me.
Really?
Yeah.
And the other game on tonight is the Montreal Canadiens and New Jersey Devils. Devils are pretty heavy favorites, as you'd expect. Montreal's been, they've just beat Colorado, but I can't give them any love on the road. So give me New Jersey a minus a goal and a half.
Did you see the numbers on Nathan McKinnon, Rantanen, and Jonathan Drouin? Minutes played, losing to the Montreal Canadiens in regulation.
No.
29 minutes.
Oh,
no way.
What?
29 minutes for
you're right.
Rantanen.
28-56 McKinnon.
And
in regulation?
In
As a
regulation.
No way.
That was wasn't that back-to-back with the
Bednar,
Leafs?
what are you doing?
Was that back-to-back? Or it might have been one day
No,
between?
it was Monday.
Okay, so Saturday night Leafs.
I think it was Monday.
Then Monday.
He had 25 shifts.
Like, there will be nothing left of the Nate dog.
January 8th against Boston, he had 30.
It'll be the Nate puppy because you cannot play this guy 29 minutes against a non-playoff team.
If you're Winnipeg, you're going, do it.
Keep playing
Run them 30 a night.
And now it's game time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, a few news and notes, including I want to play a little bit of a game with you, and we're going to do it in the Western Conference.
A game?
Okay, yeah.
That's not really what we do.
We're at the halfway mark, so we're going to look at first round matchups if they happen today.
Love it.
And we will eliminate some very good teams in the first round.
I'm sure.
So stick around for that on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We're back after these words. Welcome back into the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. And Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. All right. Welcome to the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs.
We're there.
Halfway edition. How about that?
Yeah.
We are now, as of today, starting the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh.
We are. And we're going to do it in the Western Conference.
Okay.
Because as of now, this is your matchups to start. Vancouver Canucks versus the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, my God. Stop the season. Stop the season.
In the first round.
Stop the season. We want it right now. I don't care. Stop the season.
How fun would that series be?
See, okay, we're going to play this out.
Yeah.
But on a side note, it really sucks that we're going to have a conversation now that everybody's going to have 3 months from now is why are we allowing top teams to play each other in the first round?
Gee.
But we'll have that conversation
1v8.
a while ago.
Yep. Sorry.
It was almost like there was a system that worked perfectly forever, and we had to change it for some reason. Continue.
Don't derail me.
No.
Who you taking in the first round? Edmonton or Vancouver?
They're both smoking hot.
You know, I have a really hard time here. You know why? I would pick Edmonton. I would, because Edmonton has recently gone deep. They've been through some playoff battles. You know, they got the best player on earth.
Jesus.
But I'm going to pick Stu Skinner over Thatcher Demko? How can I do that?
You can't.
I can't do it.
You can't. And Petey will have enough to saw Connor a little bit.
Yeah, was he got an actual saw? A weapon? What's he doing it with?
I don't know. I think Pettersson's having a great year that he can go. He can match up.
Mine's based in the goalie, game 7.
Yeah,
overtime.
no, I get all that. Sammy, how about you? Who you taking? And how many games?
I'm going Oil.
You're going Oil.
Yeah, I just think but this is as them started. We're starting right now. This isn't about when it actually starts. If we're starting right now, hottest team in the league, their top line is the best line in that by far. They got their power play.
Yeah. What have the Canucks done lately?
Buddy, I know. But they don't have McDavid. And McDavid, that line with McDavid, like Brownie was talking about yesterday, either the goalie stops it or goes in the net. He was right.
Yeah.
So give me the Oilers. Sorry, Vancouver.
All right.
I'm also taking Vancouver because JT Miller.
You love Miller. You're
I
such
love
a
Miller.
fan.
I am. I'm a huge Miller fan right now, and I'm not an Evander Kane. I think I didn't like his game last night against the Leafs.
Really?
Yeah. I think he slipped.
New coach is not working well with him.
He had one moment where he had a dash down the left wing, and he cut in and he missed backhand, and that was pretty much the only time I really noticed.
I actually can't believe he didn't tuck that.
Me too.
That looked like a...
Yeah, he had Jones stuck to the bar. He really could have put that in.
You think maybe he's got a little bit of a I got my big deal thing?
The thing that Willie is rumored to
Has he
be
got a little Willie Nylander?
I would never say such a thing.
I got my big deal, and I can kind of
I would never say
take the
such
foot
a thing.
off the gas pedal a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I'm not saying.
Just an observation.
I don't actually know.
Okay.
Okay.
Avs versus the Stars.
These are great series.
That's an amazing
Cup
series
playoff.
too.
Yeah. I mean, you just talked about the husk of Nate McKinnon after they're playing 30 minutes per night in the regular season against Montreal.
I think I picked the Stars to win the Stanley Cup, so you know where
I'm going to take Colorado.
I would like to take Colorado. It's such a mismatch in net to me. Georgiev's had a good year. I think he's an all-star, but like when it comes down to it, he's going to play 70 games this year.
The last two Cup champions, Aiden Hill
Yeah,
and
it's
Darcy Kemper.
great point too. And the Stars don't have McKinnon.
Yeah.
Golden Knights versus the Los Angeles Kings. Can you explain
Kings
to me?
just hanging on by a
what
thread
happened?
to get in.
What happened to the Kings?
No idea.
I actually don't have an answer there. They still have a very, quality roster. Nothing drastic seems, I don't know. I'm taking Vegas. Just
Name me
tough to pick LA
name me
right
another
now.
team that needs a goalie more. I don't know
LA?
if they exist.
I guess you're talking about the only two are Jersey and Carolina, but yep.
Merzlikins?
So Vegas is my pick.
Yes.
Merzlikins?
Yeah, they'd be desperate enough to take him.
He's got the monster out of him. He's ready.
Are they going to trade for another inconsistent Columbus goalie?
Wasn't Korpisalo really good there?
Until the playoffs.
Until he wasn't.
Elvis has got like high maintenance
Sounds like a
written
challenge.
all over him.
Oh, yeah. The goal you don't want to be the main point of attraction.
In Los Angeles, too.
Yeah.
I don't think we have an issue with the Jets and the Predators.
Jets and 4 on that one.
All right, so Jets mopping the floor. Give me the Jets.
So we're gonna have 3 really good teams eliminated.
Now you got Winnipeg
In the
versus
West.
Vegas and Vancouver, Colorado. Oh,
Yeah.
great series.
Yeah.
Wow, great hockey series. All right, let's do the East.
All right. Bruins versus Lightning right now.
Wow. Stop the season.
It's not easy to just hand it to Boston.
No way.
With Vasilevsky and the experience
Well, listen,
there.
there's that whole thing of last year in the first round where everybody and their mother picked the Boston Bruins over the Florida Panthers, and anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I am taking Boston for our purposes here.
Just as an aside, there is an alternate universe where Boston wins in that overtime and the Leafs play Boston and they go in with the underdog mentality and they win that series.
Definitely being the favorites didn't help them last year.
Being like the game starting at home and you're supposed to beat a team, that's like the worst spot for the Leafs.
Everyone across Canada is loving you griping about how the draw.
Huh?
Let me ask you something though. Like, there's no question that if Tampa Bay makes the playoffs, and that's still an if, that it could be a big mistake underestimating this team.
Yeah, the first place team. If this is like the
Edmund Cooch, Stamkos, Point, Sorelli, Sergachev, Vasilevsky, John Cooper.
Vasilevsky.
Good luck.
Right?
But
they can't defend. And they can't.
This is dash 20.
Yeah. It's remarkable. So
Okay, Boston.
I think we're taking Boston. I'm taking Boston.
Yeah. All right.
I would take Boston too, but the Tampa Bay Lightning are not going to be a treat for the first overall team if they're the 8th seed.
Very true.
It's not going to be a fun one.
Nope.
Hurricanes versus the Philadelphia
You
Flyers.
skipped one.
Oh no, we're saving that one.
All right. Carolina, Philly?
Yes.
3 games.
I
Carolina.
don't know. I think the Hurricanes they're in trouble.
What?
Yeah.
Mop
I
the
do.
Flyers.
I just think that I think all this energy's with the Flyers
Wow.
in this one.
Yeah, they're going to trade half their team.
I think
before then.
Flyers. I think Carolina would probably win it, but Flyers take a chunk out of them.
I think
they're
the
hard to play
Flyers
against.
missed the playoffs by 8 points this year.
What?
That was a massive
Really?
number. 6 points, I'll say.
They're good, man. They got a 614 winning percentage. They don't suck. Good goalie.
All right.
Really good.
Okay.
And Konechny,
Hey,
he's turned himself into
call me a jerk when we get
major
there.
player.
He is a very good player.
I'll take the Flyers in 6 on that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Keith Jones.
Wow, that's,
Okay, what do we make
got
out
some
of
buddies in the
the
business. I get it.
what do we make out of the New York Rangers, guys? A team that looked really strong for a good portion of the first half and then went into a bit of a skid. I think they've won the last 2, which kind of brings them back up a little bit. But did you ever see the Red Wings upsetting this team?
I'm just at the haters' ball today. Detroit stinks.
Detroit Rangers is an amazing jersey matchup.
Great jerseys.
Great. It's an aesthetically pleasing
Yes, it
series.
is.
Like
Very-
those 2 jerseys are as nice
Back
as
in
it
the
gets.
score days, I used to rank the matchups. That would be my number
Well,
one series.
There's so many times, like even
By jersey.
the final last year, if you just put 2 historic franchises with those rosters, it's like, oh my God, what a final. But it's like the Knights and Panthers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's anyways, but the
All right.
jerseys
Anyway,
matter.
Rangers in a walk.
Okay. Just not to derail this, but NHL All-Star jerseys, they're very bright.
Very bright is a hilarious assessment. Yeah.
It's candy
It's
ass.
too red.
Turn
It
down.
looks like a stop sign.
Turn them down.
Turn them down.
Agreed.
Is that the Biebs?
Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
brand, his design?
Drew House, yeah. Hockey comes to
Yeah, they look like, children's practice
the
jerseys.
All-Star game comes to Toronto and we
Sponsored
lower
by-
yeah.
What's the fun dip? Yeah, that's what they look like to me.
Okay.
We lower ourselves to that.
That's okay. Are the kids going to buy it?
Maybe. If they want to send me one, I'll take it.
What do you do with it? Wear it?
No, give it to my nephew.
Yeah.
Okay, that wraps up the Eastern Conference.
Oh,
Wait,
Did I miss a series, Sammy?
I think you may
Which one
have.
did I miss, Sammy?
the
Florida Panthers
versus the local
Toronto
side.
Maple Leafs.
That this is your chance for payback.
As our good friend Daryl Sutter once said, waste 8 days, boys.
Yeah.
They're not
That may be one of the best lines
ever.
going into a playoff
And
series in the history of the game.
And the team he was talking about won in 8 days. Exactly as he said it would go. Colorado beat Nashville. I think they beat him in overtime, 3 of the 4 games or something. But anyway,
Leafs are maybe getting one.
is there a chance Bobrovsky turns into a pumpkin and
Yeah, but
all
they gotta
everything they shoot goes in?
They got to get into the offensive zone, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, they lose.
Hey.
Yes, Florida.
And I get Kachuk and I get Reinhart down there. But please, the ultimate guy for me is that Barkov. Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
Oh, what a player. Hey, and you want to talk about your own zone and being in the right place at the right time at the most critical moments.
Yes.
He's as good as I've seen even in my era. Like he is, and I played with some good guys in their own zone, trust me, but he's old school, man. In any era, at any time, this guy would be lights out.
He's like if you turned Austin Matthews' goal focus to defense. He's like that, dominant at that one particular thing.
There's just no
and he gets points.
cheating.
Yeah.
Constantly on the right side of the puck. He's got a stick as good as Matthews to steal pucks. Plus he plays the body.
Plus, he's got 46 points in 40 games.
Right. They're going to give him the
35 assists, 11 goals. And, he's not the most fearsome guy.
No.
But when you have every other guy on your team is a scumbag, you fit in.
Yeah.
Right? Like every other guy is gritty on that team. So works.
doesn't.
All right, and that's our midpoint Stanley Cup playoffs.
Then you got Boston, Florida, Carolina Rangers for your next round, or Philly Rangers. So yeah,
Philly Rangers would be beautiful too.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be good.
All right, anything else strike your fancy in terms of around the league?
Yep.
Bill Guerin not ready to wave the white flag yet in Minnesota.
Why
Does
not?
that?
I think he should.
You should probably.
Do you
wait
think
it.
anybody, I guess the feeling out there is if Marc-Andre Fleury gets traded, he wants to go to a team where he's going to play and not back up. Is there a team that exists right now? Is that LA?
Is he better for LA? Is he better for Carolina or Jersey? One of those teams, Carolina or Jersey, they're going to trade for a goalie.
Yeah, I don't know if his
Minnesota's
game's strong enough right now to carry a team.
Does anyone remember is it the Black Knight from Monty Python? This is Minnesota to me. You come back here, I'll bite your kneecaps off. What? Why are they still fighting?
But he'd be fun in a dressing room, that's for sure.
He's a 297, 897, and 22 games played.
Yeah.
19 started. So I think he's an upgrade for teams like, New Jersey can't get a save. Carolina can't get a save. Like, I think he's an upgrade.
Yeah.
But he's not the be-all, end-all for you, I don't think.
You're just hoping to get league average or something compared to getting terrible goaltending at some point.
And, go ahead.
You go.
I was just going to say Eichel week to week for the Golden Knights.
Do we know what's wrong with him?
Sounds like his knee.
His
him.
knee?
There?
Yeah, lower body. Sucks.
Not great for them.
They're in a little bit, I'm going to the game on Saturday night in Vegas.
Oh, hey, that's right.
Not giving you permission to take
Sorry.
another day off.
I will say, I do, the thought has crossed my mind that your guys' attendance has been elite this year. Like, no sniffles, no one's taken a day. The only guy that's taken a day, and this is my second day that I've taken, was me. And I'm the producer. I should not be the guy leaving.
We have nowhere to go. That's our problem.
I'm going to Vegas for 3 nights with my wife. So
wow. Where are you staying?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Somewhere nice.
And you bought tickets to the game?
Yeah, got tickets to the game.
And how was that experience? Is it a really pricey ticket?
I wouldn't say it's exactly cheap, yeah. I mean, it's Vegas, so you're not getting a deal, but it's not terrible. Penguins.
I thought Kip would know the actual Golden Knight or something.
Get to see Sid, get to see the GOAT.
Are no freebies out there with the prices they charge today. Someone's taking no one wants to take a hit on tickets, right? Nobody.
They're large. The prices.
So if you've never gone to a game in Vegas?
I've never been to Las Vegas in my life.
Oh,
yeah.
I tell you what, the experience at hockey games, they do a terrific job.
I've never been to a game.
You've been?
Oh, I covered the Stanley Cup Finals with Washington and.
Who'd you work for then?
I was carrying Elliot and Kelly Rudy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Did you have any fun in Vegas?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
I did.
Is that where you heated it up at the craps table?
I'm just not a gambler, though. That's the thing.
David Amber and I hit the craps table. I held on to the dice for about 40 minutes.
That's record setting.
I think I'll put $200 on red. That'll be my gamble. I don't gamble.
Aggressive.
Like NHL All-Star red?
Sure. Bright red.
All right. Our thanks in the first hour to Nazem Kadri of the Calgary Flames as they get set to meet the Toronto Maple Leafs, and also Jason Bukala, former pro scout.
Very good.
And a terrific job with Sportsnet.ca. Just 2 games on tap tonight, but including our signature Wednesday night hockey game on Sportsnet, the Montreal Canadiens and the New Jersey Devils. Enjoy it, and we're back tomorrow for more Real Kyper and Bourne. And if you get a chance, give us a rating and review. Thanks, everybody.